Honey, let's be crystal clear. The drama house will never and never was on EA's payroll and is therefore immune to the clauses and the conditions of whatever contracts EA game changers get. That's why the drama house is the best place, the right place, for us to continue unpacking the current situation with the recent controversial announcement of a new future for EA. I've recently put together a little deep dive which I suggest watching because I tried going through the facts of what the deal EA took means and some insightful identity kit of the main players in the story. You can find it linked down below. But as any Bombshell news does, I feel we're now in the midst of the immediate aftermath within the Sims community, especially because the timing of this entire thing is not ideal. EA's in a pickle, babe. They were probably like, F it, let's seal the deal, even if there's a The Sims 4 expansion pack coming out. We could get the Backlash anyways, might as well get it because of the deal as well. Oh yes, I do think they considered it in their communication schedule, but it wasn't too much of a headache. I'm sorry, but if we're not inclined to think EA's strategies and consumer treatment lacks any sort of human morality or consideration after this whole deal thing, when are we gonna get to that conclusion? Because in my opinion, that is the only conclusion. Where money is the only compass, there's no room for anything but money. Just a reminder that the way to go for EA even months ago, before the entire buyout situation, was that they wanted to invest on AI because it does a better work than people do, while they were simultaneously laying off real employees. So it's not that the position of EA was fine and dandy, even without this stinky privatization plan. And that is kind of my point today in this video. I mean, sort of. Well, let me explain. As I mentioned before, the announcement of EA being taken private by the Saudi Arabian government and Ivanka's husband happened just a few days before the release of the new The Sims 4 expansion pack, and personally, I feel the timing is just chef's kiss, because it kind of proves the point I want to go for. I went on the Instagram comment section where the Sims 4 team posted about the release of the pack, and the feedback from fans was a mix between opinions about the business deal and opinions about the expansion pack. Spoiler alert, both sides, negative comments. So yeah, well, yay, great way to go, EA. Apparently, and I mean, who's surprised here? But the new pack is not working smoothly for all the players who bought it, with some users reporting issues with launching the game. Plus, you also have the people who are still waiting to be able to play since the last game update. And everybody is there to say the game is broken and that the latest pack isn't running properly. Wait, when have I heard this before? Ah, yes, all the other 100 times they had a new pack. So some players are like, I am not touching this game again, because I can't, because it's broken, can't launch it, etc. Some other players are stating they're not touching the game again, nor buying new content as a direct response to the acquisition. And you know, so far, I endorse everything about it. Look, it can't really be a secret that the state of the franchise could be red for filth, even before EA decided to play Treadwife with Jared. So in my humble opinion, some of us should have jumped on the I'm not buying The Sims 4 crap anymore ship a long time ago. And you know, I often read comments to my videos where players share how they decided to give The Sims 3 or The Sims 2 a try again after feeling exhausted by The Sims 4 monetization tactics and broken content, and they never looked back. So honey, don't fall for the traps. You don't need new The Sims 4 packs, just come to the other side. Get yourself The Sims 3 or The Sims 2. Honey, those titles are just like me. They are a little vintage, but you can find several ways to snatch them. So you don't even need to open your wallets to EA again. That's what I'm saying, you know? and still you will not look back. Plus, Paralive's early access is coming in like what, a couple of months, so you do have options. You can let go of that save file you were so attached to because you manually set every single NPC in like slaying outfits. You can get a sim game where you actually feel like you're also playing a video game in between makeover sessions. I have been on that boat for a while now. The one where we cozy up and we just enjoy the legends from the past. And I also don't look back at all. I don't want it. I don't want to have it. I don't care for it. And I really don't care if I don't have it. And honestly, if it is the EA business deal that is steering you away from The Sims 4, I think that's admirable. It means you can't look the other way and you do not want to endorse entities that operate in manners you don't consider fair, decent, or honestly even legal. The times are pretty tough at the moment for so many people, and so I think it's becoming necessary to be informed and decide how and who we decide to endorse with the little budgets that we have to dedicate to what we love and what makes us feel good, like entertainment. I think this is the necessary way not only to try making an impact, but also to stop rewarding companies if we think they engage in a behavior we do not support. What other way does a Sims player have to convey their disapproval in a decision like this deal that EA is making? Let me know if you have an answer to this, because I do believe that this conversation should remain open and continue within our community, because maybe there is more that can be done, and I would like to know how. Now, my next point might be a little controversial, but you'll tell me in the comments what your take is. Unless your take is, yeah, finally no more woke in the game. Actually, wait, let's start from there. I feel that the most mainstream take that is coming out of the Sims community when commenting on the acquisition is the fear that the new owners of EA will demand for the game's signature freedom in the gameplay to be changed and therefore remove features that represent sexual orientation, gender, as well as racial diversity. I've also seen like big creators mentioning this point as the cause source of their disappointment and shock. So, here is my take. Well, first of all, just some words for those who believe that the erasure of the so-called woke elements of the game is an event to be celebrated. Well, guess what? The reality is actually the opposite. It's clear and obvious, but also a fact that the freedom, inclusion, and relationship The Sims franchise has with the queer community is one of the main selling points of The Sims 4. So should the game actually lose this part, that's when they would actually go broke. I mean, how can some people get things in such a distorted way, believing a reality that is actually, opposite to the truth? I mean, it's just baffling sometimes. But yeah, extremist S's aside, I do want to address how many people are focusing mainly on this possible fear that the game will never be as they know it because of this acquisition. I understand how that thought might appear, don't get me wrong. We hear the information about the soon-to-be fathers of EA, and there's nothing in there that matches the values of the Sims community, in my opinion. So I don't think you're crazy if you're afraid that this complete overhaul of The Sims as a brand will cut your personal connection to The Sims as a brand. I understand that because I love how the game has always given us the tools to play it however we wanted to, without imposing silly ideologies or rhetoric onto the players, without limiting their experience just because some guy who thinks he's smart has never read a book about gender identity. Give me a break. The Sims franchise has always been part of certain communities, and certain communities have always been part of the Sims franchise, and just like many other people, I respect and love that, and I would be extremely enraged if this ever changed. But having said that, whenever I read comments that mention the fear of a possible future extreme makeover of the premise of the game, I kind of hope people manage to peel that layer and see what's underneath. Let me explain. Maybe it's just me, but I do think that for some time now, The Sims 4 has been working towards the brandification of The Sims, relying heavily on identity marketing. And even if on the surface, this doesn't necessarily look like a bad thing, I believe the latest buyout of EA should kind of reveal this strategy to everybody who actually previously bought it. What I'm trying to say is, as you fear how this new acquisition might change the part of the game that connects you to the game, or even more broadly to the Sims brand, you should also clearly see that all the performative activism that was granting the engagement and support from the community was exactly that. It was performative marketing campaigns targeting your identity, your beliefs, just to sell you yet another underwhelming, unfinished, boring piece of content. Remember when The Sims 4 pack My Wedding Stories was delayed because of the censorship in Russia on same-sex marriage? Well, turns out that's a great example of the strategy being queerbait, with the trailer portraying a same-sex couple, putting major emphasis on it, considering the whole censorship and delay of the pack debacle, just to deliver a broken, unfinished, and underwhelming game pack. The product was bad, but they marketed it in a way that resonated with the players, even coming across as paladins for the LGBTQ+ community, as they stated their clear support against the censorship. On the surface, this story makes EA look good because it appears as a story where a big video game title has no problem in standing on the side of equality and inclusion, but the truth was, the pack was crap. They probably used the gay marriage trailer and the couple of rainbows swatches because they knew they needed to sell it to us on the base of our beliefs and identity, not on the base of how good the pack was. And the proof is in the pudding, baby, because, you know, I'm not saying EA should have held a season of The Bachelor to pick their ideal buyer, but pivoting fully towards figures that are this controversial and notorious for being this controversial, the bar is in hell, baby. It truly is. So yeah, I do hope that the fans and the Sims 4 players who are publicly expressing their fear for the possible doomed future of the franchise values could actually be as outraged after realizing that those flags EA claimed to be waving so profusely and happily, especially in the form of the Sims franchise, they were mere marketing campaigns. This is also the reason why I think we will not see these catastrophic changes in terms of diversity in the gameplay. I doubt the new investors are that interested in contemplating the already implemented features of the game. I believe that the Sims franchise is the last wagon on the train in the eyes of the new owners of EA. And that is why I think that the ones who must be facing some fear as aftermath of the deal are, for example, the employees who work in the Sims team. Fear of layoffs, fear of changes in the way of working, fear of restructuring. And I have a lot of empathy for their situation. I have navigated something similar in my life, and I know how stressful and unsettling that can be. To conclude, here is my final take on the feedback coming from the Sims community. The latest news on the EA acquisition doesn't impact the Sims franchise as much as one may think, because the Sims franchise was already impacted by terrible choices made by EA. The Sims 4 is a decaying corpse kept alive by updates and task forces, while the active players gaslight themselves into buying yet another pack, until their game kind of breaks in a tragic way, breaking every last straw they had in their hearts for the franchise. On top of the wasteland that is The Sims 4 at the moment, and we don't even need to mention Miss Renee, who might even get lost in the paperwork of the buyout and never mentioned again. But on top of that situation, there's the community's reaction to EA siding with companies that have proven themselves in different circumstances and situations inhumane, cruel, and criminal. That's why my final question is, why are players still throwing their money at EA? What are the reasons to continue buying the new packs? How thick is the layer of loyalty within this community? And what does it take for EA to finally break it for good? Thank you so much for watching this video, my dear drama friend. If you shared my take on the community reaction to the EA's buyout and the position of The Sims in this entire mess, well, let me know in the comments and don't forget to leave a like. Feel free to join me here at the Drama House for more videos, deep dives, and live streams. We will never stop talking about the past, present, and future of life simulation video games. And that's a promise from me to you. My name is Lady Drama, and I hope I'll see you very soon.